Our insurance exchanges and affiliates. Products not available in every state.
Welcome back. Good to have you in on a Friday. Fun week. I don't remember the last time in the middle of March. There were so many fun things to talk about this week. Big college basketball, Monday bracket show, all that stuff. Fun watching Duke, Syracuse last night, and Zion Williamson. We got a ton of NFL moves. The new reality in the NFL. It's a win for me. It's a win. There's just so many great things today. And thanks, he sort of moved him out of town. Cleveland just wants to win. Their standards are much lower than Kansas City or New England or a Pittsburgh or a Philadelphia. The standards are pretty low for Cleveland, right? Like they're just freaking out because people are paying attention to them and they got some nice players. And so yesterday, John Dorsey said, listen, OBJ's talent outweighs the challenges of coaching him. And you know what? I think Cleveland next year is going to be incredibly predictable. I think they're going to be a louder, less mature, less well-coached, less stable, less buttoned-up Kansas City Chiefs. I think they're going to be all sorts of fun. But their GM is loud and abrasive. Their coach is a puppet. Their quarterback is cocky. Their owner is impatient. And their two receivers, Landry and OBJ, are really talented and, let's just say, challenging. That's a reality show. If you were the president of HBO today, there is only one other team you would even consider for Hard Knocks, the Raiders. The Raiders in Cleveland, you wouldn't even have to call it Hard Knocks, just call it the Browns. They're going to be wildly fun, and I think it's a very predictable team. Baker Mayfield is accurate and throws a very accurate deep ball. He and OBJ are going to work. OBJ leads the NFL in slants, yards on slants. That's a great pass for Baker. He's super accurate. He's also got speed and a good deep threat. Baker throws a terrific deep ball. My issues with Baker are not his arm and not his accuracy. So it's very predictable. They're going to work. OBJ and Baker are going to work. This is not an X's and O's debate. Okay, I deal with data analysts and sources and executives. Cleveland next year is not an X's and O's debate. Their offense is going to be fun. This is a cultural debate. They're going to be loud with a puppet head coach and an ego-driven GM and a quarterback that's cocky and OBJ who wants the ball and Jarvis Landry who talks and Sheldon Richardson who's talented but never quite played up to his contract. So this is not, when I see Cleveland, I see Kansas City, but without the sage wisdom of Andy Reid, without the stability and the patience of the Hunt family. I see the Chiefs. But the Chiefs' culture, although there's a lot of fireworks, Patrick Mahomes is a grown-up, Andy Reid's a grown-up, Hunt family grown-up, Tyreek Hill, I never hear him talk. Sammy Watkins, I don't hear him talk. Eric Berry, total pro. D4, never hear him talk. It's not a challenging roster. Kansas City's just exciting and talented and fun, and all of that is what Cleveland's going to be. This is not an X's and O's debate with us. They're culturally, though, loud. And it's interesting because in their division, the Steelers have been loud and loose and fun and underachieved. So I think they're a very predictable team next year. Schematically, a blast, a bunch of points, depth at key spots. But it culturally, you got a head coach, Freddie Kitchens. This would be a tough locker room with a veteran head coach. I mean, OBJ unraveled. McAdoo and Shermer couldn't quite go to a podium and give you a legit answer. And I like OBJ. I really do. I like him a lot. I think he's a good kid. Gets hurt a little. When I talked to him 2 weeks ago, I told him, I said, my number one concern with you is you're small and you miss a lot of games. It's not your personality. I can deal with that. He wants the ball. He wants to be an all-time great. And I don't think he misses the New York Giants. He was tired of it. Veteran newsman John Goulet.
This is the Herdline News. So former Chiefs and now Browns running back Kareem Hunt has officially been suspended by the NFL for 8 games. His suspension stems from a February 2018 incident where he was seen on video shoving and kicking a woman during an altercation. Hunt not going to appeal, is just going to accept it, and he released a statement this morning apologizing for his actions once again. Does him missing half the season change your outlook on the Browns at all? No, he's a really good running back.
He's a really good running back. He'll come back rested. I mean, you're going to have to answer a bunch of questions in weeks 5, 6, and 7. That will be a little distraction for a young head coach. He's a terrific player. He made a mistake. He's being punished. But no, good hands, good in space. So, he's a great player who made a mistake, owned up to it, and 8 games seems, reasonable. And I think he'll come back with fresh legs. Le'Veon Bell's going to come back this year. He's going to have fresh legs, and they're both really good players.
So LeBron and the Lakers lost to the Raptors last night, which is not surprising to anyone. But what everyone is talking about was what actually happened after the game. LeBron was seen telling Kawhi Leonard, "We'll be in touch." So obviously we've all massively overreacted to that and are now speculating, do you think maybe they still have a shot to get Kawhi? We've said, and you've said, it's kind of a foregone conclusion. If he's going to leave Toronto, he's going to come to the Clippers. Are we so sure about that?
A lot of guys say to beautiful women, "We'll be in touch," and the women have no interest calling the men back. Just because LeBron says we'll be in touch doesn't mean Kawhi Leonard's interested.
I mean, just because they could be just talking about going to dinner doesn't mean we can't then take this and make it Kawhi is coming to the Lakers in a few months.
Come on, we're making a little bit too much of this, right? We'll be in touch. I saw.
Well, who's we? I mean, if you're just making plans for yourself, you said, "I'll be in touch."
I saw Rob Parker in the hallway before the show. I said, "We'll be in touch." What does that mean? We're going to be roommates?
We clearly means LeBron and Magic and Rob Pelinka will be in touch.
All right. Well, by the way, my phone's always, you can call me anytime. It doesn't mean I'm coming over. We'll be in touch doesn't mean anything.
Do you just think it's Raptors or Clippers for him?
I think it's Raptors 50%, Clippers 50%. That's what I absolutely believe. And I think the Clippers are probably the shock of the league. I can't believe how well they're playing. That team plays hard every night. They play defense. I still can't figure out. Lakers gave up Lou Williams and Zubac. They've both been unbelievable. I mean, that's the best story in the NBA. Doc Rivers gets criticized for his coaching. What the Clippers are doing this year, post Tobias Harris, it's been fantastic.
I wonder how the hard-playing team will like Kawhi's mandatory 15 nights off a year as a rest.
I don't think he'll take it when he's a Clipper.
And finally, after rumors surfaced that the Bills trade for Antonio Brown, you remember that, was squashed because Antonio Brown did not want to play in Buffalo.
Yeah.
Bills GM Brandon Mead made sure yesterday that everyone understood players love Buffalo.
Okay.
That pissed me off, to be candid, because it was an ignorant comment or whatever. And I'm not on social media, but if you live in Buffalo or you know anything about Buffalo, don't speak about Buffalo if you don't know what this city and what this fan base is like. It really pissed me off, and because it's not true. And when you talk to players, and it was not, how many guys flowed through here today? 8, 9, whatever. And we could have had more.
Well, this is time out. Don't kid yourself. Is that Buffalo historically has to pay a little more to get players?
Yeah, it's about a 20% markup they give players to sign in Buffalo.
Listen, I actually think Buffalo I like their GM, I like this kid, and I really like their coach. The knock on, if you put those two guys in Dallas, but don't kid yourself. There are places players want to play. Young people in general, in the medical field, in the sales field, they want to be in big cities. They want to be in New York, Atlanta's. They want to be in New York's. They want to, it's nothing against. I think the Bills actually have had a really good offseason, and I really like their GM, and I think they have a really good head coach. And Josh Allen was way better than I thought last year. I thought he was going to be potential bust. So there's a lot of things I like about Buffalo and where they're going, but you got to pay a little bit more to go to Buffalo. That's the reality of the bet. When I used to work in local TV, Phoenix used to pay in sunshine. Because a lot of people, when I got to be 50 in local news, wanted to go work in Phoenix and golf. Minneapolis, sometimes you have to pay a little more. That's the reality. Most Americans vacation in warm weather, not cold, and most players would rather play in moderate to warm, not cold.
You don't go to Buffalo on vacation? I feel like you're one of the people he's talking about. You just don't get money.
I think he was personally mad at me. It sounded like it's kind of intimidating. Veteran newsman John Goulet.
Well, that's the news.
And thanks for stopping by.
We have so much football today. Top of the hour, 30 minutes away. I'm going to take the teams in the NFL. I'm going to give grades for the off-season free agency period. And I think you'll be surprised. I'm handing out 3 or 4 A's and a couple of D's. And there may be a failing grade in there. And with that, New York Times, he is our voice of the NBA. He's my friend Chris Broussard is now joining us. So it's been an interesting week where, first of all, do you make anything out of LeBron and
be in touch, and they will. Here's the thing with Kawhi Leonard. He has no interest in joining or putting together a super team.
He doesn't.
No, I'm not saying he's, adamant against it, but he's not going to be a part of any discussion. Let's come together and do. I've actually been told, not from him or KD, but people around the league have told me that he and KD, because the Clippers, that's their dream scenario. We talk about Kyrie and KD in New York. The Clippers' dream scenario is KD and Kawhi at Staples Center with the Clippers. I've been told, though, that each of those guys is leery of the narrative that they joined each other. Like, KD doesn't want another narrative of, he went and joined Kawhi. Kawhi doesn't want a narrative of, he went and joined KD. I don't think it has to be that way because they both would be going to the same team. But
Different game.
Yeah, they don't want that narrative.
Well, you can't join another star and not have that narrative. You are joining good players.
And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, joining Kawhi or Kyrie is not like joining Golden State after they won 73 games. So I don't think either of them should be worried about that.
Yeah.
So, but that's what some people have told me.
So we had a story this week. Rick Bucher had it. A couple of different people said it. I suggested it about 2 weeks ago. I said, listen, way deep. I mean, he's a 5-starter on a really good team. Boston Celtics, I'm not sure he starts. Warriors, he doesn't start. Houston maybe starts. They have LeBron. But there are stories now that Jeannie Buss was so ticked off at Clutch Sports, Rich Paul, LeBron, that she considered that it was brought up. Does that shock you the story came out?
Well, we both know Rick Bucher. We worked with him in the other place. I've known him for decades. He's a good reporter. And we had Rick on our show yesterday, Odd Couple, Rob Park and I. And I brought up to him, look, this is how I've talked to people involved in this story who did not adamantly say it's not true. I brought that up to Rick. I brought up, why did you kind of bring up that? Like, usually that would be the lead. Brian couldn't fetch that much on the market. Age, who would have traded for Michael Jordan in his Washington years? He's the greatest ever. So it happens. And here's the other thing about LeBron. Now, LeBron's got more left than Jordan had when he was in Washington. But LeBron, if they did trade him, he ain't gonna be happy. And LeBron is a handful even when he wants to be there. In Cleveland, he was a handful. In LA, he was a handful, and he wants to be there.
Remember, Kobe at the end, 3 years before he retired, Dwight Howard turned down $30 million. Michael Jordan's teammates couldn't stand it. Paul George chose Westbrook over him. Kyrie left him. When you get these iconic guys, MJ, Kobe, LeBron, it ain't just the game anymore. The last 4 years, LeBron brings a lot of suitcases into your house.
And that
you have space.
You brought up Jordan, and I've talked about it. I was there in Washington covering that team a lot for the New York Times, and they couldn't stand it and that wasn't in the social media age. If that had been nowadays, it would have been a lot worse. It may have been comparable to this LeBron stuff. And so these guys bring that, but LeBron wants to be in Los Angeles. So if they traded him, say they traded him to New Orleans,
He'd be miserable.
or Charlotte, he might, I don't know, I have no idea what's in his mind, but he might retire.
I don't think
Rather than play in New Orleans or Charlotte or...
I don't think you're crazy.
And the notion that was brought up in Rick's article by some executive with Milwaukee trying to pair him with Giannis, I wouldn't even think about pairing LeBron with Giannis.
No, that's
Their games are complementary.
No.
And LeBron, and look, it's not, I don't think this is necessarily a knock on LeBron, but he's an icon. And he's still a great player. When he comes in, he takes over.
He sucks the air out of the franchise.
And Milwaukee's got something nice going. They're not.
By the way, let me just throw this out there. You got a lot of sources. In my lifetime, there have been 4 young athletes I've seen in basketball that were different. Ewing, Shaq, LeBron, and Zion. I'm telling you right now, I have 2 guys, executives in the league. They're like, you have to pick Zion number 1. He is literally going to change shoe deals, TV ratings. He will add $400 to $500 million of net worth to the franchise that gets him. That's the belief in the NBA. If your franchise is worth $3 billion, Zion makes it worth $3.5 billion. That's from an executive who deals in that space. inspirational space.
No, I'm hearing the same thing. I haven't talked to one person who has said he's not the definitive number one pick. It's not just what you see that's obvious, the athletic ability, the dunking, the excitement. It's also that he loves the game.
Yes.
Usually, how many college kids, especially ones that can score 20-something a night, play defense like that? LeBron didn't, and I'm not saying he's going to be LeBron James, but LeBron was not that type of defender. He just didn't have the interest in it early in his career in Cleveland. This guy defends. This guy's blocking jump shots. He's making steals. He's got plays with a joy and a love for the game.
He's 18 years old. Look at him. He doesn't even look like
Yeah, they're going to get that baby fat off of him, too. And he's still going to be chiseled and huge, but they're going to get that baby fat off of him, get him with a nutritionist. I even had one scout tell me, not like a lot or permanently, but they're like, he could even play some point. Like, if you have to have him dribble the ball up court or push the ball,
Listen, we all love
he
Giannis.
can do that.
Giannis wasn't close to this good at that age.
No, but Giannis is 7 feet. That's the difference.
No, but I'm saying Giannis developed by year 3 into a nice
Yeah, I
player.
think Giannis averaged 7 points
A game. Jimmy Butler averaged 2.5.
Yeah.
I mean, so this kid is.
And what he did last night, and here, Colin, I don't know if I've said this on your show. If the Knicks have the great blessing to get Kyrie, KD, and the number one pick, I was saying up to about 2 weeks ago, I was like, you trade that number one pick for Anthony Davis. Now I would do it, and not just because of how explosive Zion is. Here's why. Because he can around through the zone. He's not dribbling the ball. They said, look,
Shooters first 4 years in the league.
if Jason Kidd could develop a jump shot, he'll be able to develop a jump shot. He is the number one pick, no question.
NFL offseason grades in 20 minutes. Chris Broussard, great seeing you. Rob Parker and Chris, of course, host a radio show, The Odd Couple, was talking to a rival in the industry last week, and they said, you know, Parker and Broussard, that show has an it quality.
True. That's true.
And this guy was good. This is a player in my industry.
All right.
And I said,
my day.
well, that's what he said. I said, slow down. Let's not go crazy. You're doing a great job. Chris Broussard had a great weekend. Coming up next, the NFC East was decided yesterday. And it was not decided on the field in the NFL. It was decided upstairs. That's coming up. The tough weather is subsiding, right? Winter is over. It's lightening up. Here's spring. California this weekend's back to 80 degrees. It's just wonderful, but most of the country is going to get 8 weeks to 10 weeks of spring or longer. Michelin Premium Wiper Blades. Hug your windshield. Smart Flex technology. You want to see better? You want to drive more safely? Walmart's got them. Pet Boys, Amazon. Automatically flexes to the curve of your glass. Rain, ice, snow does not matter. Hug your windshield like Michelin Premium tires hug the road. Smart Flex technology. Spring is the wet season for most of the country. Doesn't rain a ton in the summer, doesn't rain a ton in the fall, but the spring, do some spring cleaning. Streak-free, smear-free, squeak-free, Michelin Premium wiper blades all season long. Get your wiper blades changed. You wouldn't drive with bad tires if your wipers are squeaking. Get them off for the spring.
You're checking out The Herd with Colin Cowherd. To hear more sports action, listen to Fox Sports Radio on iHeartRadio.
If you're like me, you're hearing lots of talk about listening to podcasts, right? But what is a podcast? Well, podcasts are audio shows you can stream or download. They range from entertaining to informative, and they cover just about any topic you can imagine. From true crime to comedy, politics, history, even aliens. Yeah, the iHeartRadio app makes it simple to find a podcast for whatever topic that interests you. Just open the iHeartRadio app, tap the podcast tab on the bottom of the screen to begin your podcast adventure.
NBC News Radio, I'm Brian Shook. New Zealand police are confirming the suspect charged with murder in relation to the shootings at 2 mosques is 28-year-old Brenton Tarrant. Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern said Tarrant had 5 guns and a firearms license. 2 other people are in custody but have not been charged. None of the 3 had a criminal record. In the aftermath of the deadly attack, Homeland Security Secretary Christian Nielsen says there's no specific or credible threat to the U.S. Tom Roberts has more.
In a statement
Friday, Nielsen warned that all Americans should remain vigilant to prevent the violent hate displayed in the New Zealand shootings. She also offered prayers to victims and their families. The attack killed dozens of people. Tom Roberts, NBC News Radio.
President Trump said he thinks there should be no final report from special counsel Robert Mueller. In a series of tweets today, Trump said Mueller should never have been appointed. He also argued that the probe is an illegal and conflicted investigation in search of a crime. Mueller's thought to be wrapping up his investigation and is obligated to submit his findings to Attorney General Bill Barr. President Trump is defending the veto of the congressional resolution that blocks his border emergency declaration. At the White House today, Trump called it a reckless and dangerous resolution and insisted that there is a legitimate crisis at the border.
The only emergency Congress voted to revoke was the one to protect our own country. So think of that. With all of the national emergencies, this was the one they...
This is why the New York Giants right now are a second-tier franchise. I've been saying this. I think they have the second worst winning percentage over the last 5 years, next to like Detroit or Cleveland. This is a bad football operation in New York. And a great stockbroker knows when to buy a stock, but the great ones know also when to sell a stock. And Nick Foles, they squeezed every ounce of talent out of Nick Foles, and then they let the Jags overpay for him. Jacksonville doesn't have the coaches, the offensive line, they don't have the general manager in Philadelphia, and Nick Foles is going to go down to Jacksonville and not play up to his contract. It's guaranteed. And Golden Tate is not going to have the quarterback in New York. He's not going to have the tight end Zach Ertz deflecting some of the coverage. He's not going to have the Giants O-line, not the Philadelphia O-line, and frankly, the Philadelphia Eagles, Howie Roseman's as good as any GM in the league. As good as any GM in the league. Chris Ballard, the Colts, Kansas City, Bruce Veach, Ballard, Howie Roseman. These guys are as good as anybody in this league. And this is a classic example of a really smart team, Philadelphia, picking a stock, getting a little out of it, and selling it, and the sucker coming by it. And Jacksonville with Foles, Nick Foles will never be as good in Jacksonville as the man. And you look at the NFC East right now. This is why the Eagles are going to be at the top of it. And Dallas, by the way, I think is much less dysfunctional than everybody claims. Washington, once again in free agency, dysfunctional. Giants, I have no idea what they're doing. Joe Banner was an executive in that division for years with Philadelphia for like 17 years, and he built a consistent winner. Joe Banner got fired eventually, but Joe Banner built a consistent winner for 17 years in Philadelphia. And Giants, what are they doing? I want to shift to this. Marvin Lewis coached in the NFL for a long time. He said he would not draft Kyler Murray as the #1 pick at quarterback. It was not that Marvin Lewis didn't think Kyler Murray had talent, but Marvin Lewis touched on something that's a reality in the NFL that never gets talked about. That if you draft Kyler Murray, you have to start from scratch. You create a completely different offense. You're drafting different players, and you just did that with Josh Rosen. I will say this on the whole Kyler Murray situation, is that it is remarkable how often teams bail on people, young people. Never forget, Giannis averaged 7 points a game as a rookie. Jimmy Butler 2.5. Paul George 7. Trae was 0-11 and had 9 TDs and 18 interceptions. Derek Carr lost his first 10 games. Antonio Brown's rookie year, he had 16 catches. Not in a game. For the season, he had 167 yards. Peyton Manning was 3-13 and led the short routes or they become interceptions. It is choreography. It's memorization of a massive playbook. Defenses. Ndamukong Suh has more talent than Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald's coachable. Ndamukong Suh's doing his own thing. That's why one's a first ballot Hall of Famer and one's just rich. The culture of the Steelers is loud and loose. Seattle did it, and Pete Carroll moved those players out of town. Last year, they got really quiet, and they got a playoff berth. Isn't it funny how it works? Loud and loose is not a legitimate culture long term. The media loves that stuff because it gives them stories, but the media mostly doesn't know what it's doing when it comes to business. They're writers. They're broadcasters. That's what we do. We're not business people. Loose and loud doesn't work in corporate America. It doesn't. It doesn't work in football. It doesn't work as parenting. And the Steelers have to tighten it up. Blame whoever you want. But the football coach, we have a reigning dynasty in the NFL for the last 20 years. For almost a decade. He was a multiple-time All-Pro. Something to him in-house. But it does plant that seed. They're not all in on me.
Why should it be all in on them? If you're not coming out publicly and saying this is our guy no matter what going forward, why would it be all in on them?
That's a good point. Great seeing you, bud.
Same here.
Coming up next, I'll give out all the grades for NFL free agency in LA. Hour 2 third.
You're hearing a replay of The Herd with Colin Cowherd. Hear Colin live right here, weekdays from noon to 3 Eastern, 9 a.m. to noon Pacific.
From a hot air balloon landing on a car to a load of concrete falling on one, we've covered it. Talk to farmers. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
Tomorrow, two of the best pound-for-pound fighters on the planet with their perfect records on the line at AT&T Stadium as Errol Spence Jr. takes on Mikey Garcia for the World Welterweight Championship. Tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, live on pay-per-view.
By the way, Spence, I think, is going to win this fight. Garcia's moving up weight classes. They sent me boxing shorts for this. I think I'm going to take these to bed. I don't know how my wife will react. I'll say, listen, I'm the champ. Garcia's moving up weight classes. Spence is one of the best pound-for-pound boxers in the world. So check it out on pay-per-view. All right, so here we have all these teams making all these moves. And I thought I'd look at 8 or 10 of the teams and give you sort of my feeling of what I saw in the free agency. And I think there's a lot of things to consider. Did you add good players? But are they a chemistry issue? Did you get some value out of them? Or did you overpay for them? Do they fit your scheme? Did you go and attack the side of the ball that needs help? So I thought, a little music maybe. I'd run through my off-season report cards. Let me hand out first an A. I thought the New York Jets hit it out of the park. First of all, Le'Veon Bell is exactly what Dak got in Zeke and what Jared Goff got in Todd Gurley. A dominating running back presence. Nothing helps a young quarterback more. They also upgraded at slot wide receiver and offensive line. This plan looks a lot like the Los Angeles Rams. Bring in a slot, upgrade the O-line, dependable running back. The Jets already have some nice defensive pieces. They have the 3rd pick, which I've been told they'd move down if they could get more pieces. They need a center, and they can use another corner. I thought they did a really good job. By the way, Le'Veon Bell's contract is not bad. It is not an outrageous contract for the production he will add. Next up, Cleveland Browns. We'll give him a B. Odell Beckham's missed 16 games in the last 2 years, and I think between Sheldon Richardson, Odell Beckham, and Jarvis Landry, this is a challenging team to coach with a rookie head coach who's only been a coordinator for 8 games, and nobody else in the league would have even interviewed Freddie Kitchens for a coordinator job, forget giving him the head coaching job. They did let go of the starting safety, Jabril Peppers, who's a good player, not a great player, and they feel they've got that solved. I do not question the X's and O's of the Browns, but I do question the culture. A lot of egos, a lot of strong points of view, and a head coach who appears to be a puppet. I'd give them a B. Thought the most underrated class of everybody was the Green Bay Packers. They didn't get a a star, so I'll give him an A-. But linebacker Preston Smith is a baller. He will come in and start. Adrian Amos, a safety from the Bears, will come in and start. Offensive lineman Billy Turner's expensive, but worth it in my opinion. I think they went. They also got Zadarius Smith. They went and attacked the defensive side of the ball, which, by the way, they also did last year in the draft. So now, a minus because I don't think they got a guy that changes losses to wins, and I don't love, and I consider this part of free agency, who they hired as a head coach. But I do think they were smart. They got mid-level free agents. I'd give the Packers an A-. Raiders up next. I would give them a B-. Trent Brown was massively overpaid at left tackle. They had a much more affordable guard. I know it's not as crucial a position, but the Colts Quentin Nelson proved guards matter too. I thought they overspent for the pieces they got, and they lost a couple of guys. Jordy Nelson's another, who I think are good locker room guys. They did upgrade on the perimeter, but I don't think their offensive line is perhaps as good. I think they just overpaid massively for Trent Brown. He's not the highest paid offensive lineman in NFL history, and I don't think Dante Scarnecchia basically saved his reputation last year. There were a lot of people that didn't know if he was a top starting left tackle, period, in the NFL. Forget the highest paid, I'd give the Raiders a B-. Niners, I'd give a B+ to. Under the radar, they went out and got a highly athletic linebacker, Quan Alexander. He's a really nice player. They went out and attacked the defensive side of the ball. D Ford's expensive, but I like him a lot. I know the Colts were interested in D Ford, and then Kansas City franchised him. Jason Barrett is a decent corner. They did not answer. They need a top wide receiver. Right now, the Niners do not have a number one wide receiver. Dante Pettis is a really solid 2 and a nice rookie year. They have a star at tight end. They upgraded with Tevin Coleman, their running back situation. And, of course, they get Jimmy Garoppolo back. They didn't answer wide receiver. I think they will do that in the draft. Not with their first pick, which is the number 2 pick, but with their second and third picks. Ravens, I'd give a C+. I like Mark Ingram. And Earl Thomas is not worth the money, but they just lost too many defensive starters. 4 defensive starters. C.J. Mosley, linebacker, you just can't replace that guy. There's nobody in the draft class you can replace, nobody on the market you can replace, so they get dinged for that. But it's a little better than just average, because I think Mark Ingram, second to Le'Veon Bell, can really help a young quarterback. Listen, it's not math here, folks. It's not algebra. Young quarterbacks flourish when you give them a dependable workhorse behind them. Dak and Zeke, Goff and Gurley. It's not compliment. By the way, Patrick Mahomes had better numbers with Kareem Hunt than without Kareem Hunt. So they got Lamar running back. I like. He's not a pop guy, but he's a solid workhorse guy. Philadelphia Eagles, I thought they did great. I thought arguably did better than anybody. Not a shock, great GM. First of all, they added Malik Jackson next to Fletcher Cox. And then they re-signed Brandon Graham, a great young defensive guy up front. That defensive line's the best in football right now. Malik Jackson, Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham is great. I also love what they did. They got a couple of nice moments out of Golden Tate, then they moved off him. That's how you play the game. They got a couple of nice moments out of Michael Bennett, who I still think can play, and then they moved off him. Nick Foles, they squeezed every ounce. He and Carson Wentz, give them a D-. It's not losing Odell Beckham. That's not it. It's your reluctance to move off a shot fighter, a quarterback. Olivier Vernon was a nice player. You don't have him. Golden Tate, I like as a number 2 or 3 guy. I thought Philadelphia used him wisely. I like Golden Tate. I'd love to have him on a football team, but not for $38 million. I just can't figure out what the plan is. The one thing I'll say about the Giants last couple of years, they've attacked their offensive line, and they've done a pretty good job with their offensive line. They drafted a great kid last year, Will Hernandez. They got a starter from the Browns this offseason. That's why I didn't give them an F, a D-. And finally, the Jaguars. They upgraded a quarterback, but more than anything, I'm giving them a C+, not because they attained Nick Foles, because they moved out Blake Bortles. They lost Malik Jackson, who's a really good player. The offense now is Nick Foles and Leonard Fournette. Fournette, I'm not sure loves football. Remarkably, he's with that body type, he's hurt a lot. And I'd giving them a grade of C+ because they were able to move off Blake Bortles, and the New York Giants are proving that's apparently incredibly difficult for a lot of teams to just acknowledge we're moving off a guy that isn't productive enough. So there are my report cards. My A's went to the Eagles, the Jets, and the Green Bay Packers. There you go. Here's veteran newsman John Goulet.
This is the Herdline News.
No Fs. Very lean. Giants were real close. The only reason I didn't give the Giants one is they did upgrade their interior of their offensive line with an immobile Eli Manning. They drafted a kid last year out of UTEP who was a really good player, and they went and got a start from the Browns at guard, another solid player. So they've upgraded the interior of their O-line. They went out and got Solder last year, who's not as good as the money, but they got him. So they are making an effort to upgrade what really matters in the NFL. Once you have a quarterback O-line, their problem is they need a new quarterback.
I don't even think a D- is a real grade. I feel like I would have gotten it as it was. Last night, Zion Williamson returned for Duke and was literally perfect. He went 13 for 13 and Duke's went over Syracuse. Now, after he got hurt, a lot of people suggested that Zion shouldn't come back to Duke. He should just sit out and protect himself for his NBA career. Zion disagreed and talked about that after the game.
So people that think I should stop playing college and just focus on the NBA. Thanks, but no thanks.
I know you agree with him. I think you think the narrative about how college is so evil.
Well, I think college basketball has value. I mean, I can tell you personally that college is where I grew up. I had to live on my own, make my own bed, feed myself. This idea that college basketball is evil if you don't pay the players, I don't buy into that. I think the NBA's got a maturity problem, emotional and physical maturity, and these guys would all be better off playing 3 years at Gonzaga, Xavier, Duke, Kansas. These are really good coaches. This idea of college basketball is just bad. It doesn't add any value. Give me a break.
He certainly looked like he was having some fun last night.
Yeah, I mean, now, did I think Zion would come back and play? No. I figured everybody would shut him down.
He mentioned after the game, though, that he probably could have played 3 games ago, but they were extra careful, making sure he's 100% healthy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if a doctor says you're not going to re-injure anything, then why not play in the ACC tournament?
I think actually coming back and playing with that kind of joy is a bonus. I mean, he was already going to go number 1, but I think it makes him even more appealing as a shoe company, giving him an offer.
And now we get to see him against North Carolina tonight, which we hadn't seen. He got hurt in the first one and missed the second game.
Yeah.
Many people have criticized Le'Veon Bell for sitting out the 2018 season and then taking the deal that he did with the Jets. He could have made $14.5 million last year and then probably signed a similar contract this year. But Bell is happy with his decision.
I agree. Obviously, everything is happening for a reason up to this point. Who can say, I played last year, I do go out there and play my 1-year franchise tag. If I do get hurt, do I end up sitting in this bench today, being with the New York Jets? Well, beautiful deal. Even on the other side of it, say if I do go out there for the first, I take another 400 carries. Who can say that if I'm talking the season healthy, who can say that the team will take me another 400 carries?
Do you agree that he protected his value by sitting out?
Listen, you're not going to get that money back, but I think, again, you don't just play sports for money. Memo to the media is that he's rested. He grew up wanting to be a New York Jet. He now gets a young franchise where they can build around him, where he felt maybe just like a piece. Adam Gase is a great offensive coach, has a winning record when Ryan Tannehill was healthy. He's not going to get the money back. But the media becomes so enamored. Winning matters, and teammates matter, and the city matters. And if he's a home run in New York, he's going to get endorsements. He'll never get all the money back. But, we know this to be true. C.J. Anderson came in at the end of the year for the Rams and looked really good. And C.J. was like, I was rested. I was ready to go. There is value to Kareem Hunt will come in game 8 for the Browns, and he'll have fresh legs.
talked about the Packers all season. This is Green Bay, Wisconsin. We're now mode all the time. I thought we needed to have short defense significantly, and I think these guys
I thought it was really impressive. Move into mogul stage. This is what happens. It happened with Kobe. It happened with Michael. Kobe scored 60 his last game. I saw Michael score 25 in Portland last game. There he was the best guy on the floor. And Rasheed Wallace was on the floor that night. His last year, he was still by far and away one of the top players in the league and easily the best Wizard. And they had Rip Hamilton, who was emerging as a star. And LeBron's easily the best Laker and still one of the top 5 players in the league. But he's no longer Robin Hood. There was a long time in the NBA, people wanted to play with Kobe. People wanted to play with Michael. They wanted to be part of the biggest rock tour in the NBA. There was a time when people like a Battier and a Mike Miller and a Ray Allen, they wanted to play with LeBron. The Robin Hood days are over. The Pied Piper days are over. That's not the way it works anymore. It didn't work that way for Michael, Kobe, or LeBron at the end. He's still a 28, 8, and 8 guy. I'm not denying that. But I've said before, there's 4 guys in the NBA right now that I would absolutely, I think, have more value than LeBron going forward. Giannis, Steph, Durant, and Zion. Going forward, years left, what I'd have to pay him, influence on winning, I think those 4 guys I'd move for. So leadership and posters of you, and it will be part of it. When Paul George chose Westbrook in Oklahoma City over LeBron in Los Angeles, that was a problem. And because the Lakers thought in the building they had him, that was a problem. Now NBA owners are saying, yeah, we get it. He's still a 28, 8, and 8 guy. Jordan was still great. Kobe scored 60 last game. It's not a talent. But there's a lot of things now. I said earlier when I had Chris Broussard on last hour, LeBron now comes to your team with a suitcase. And you better have a lot of shelf space. Because, man, he's got a lot of suitcases. And they're packing a lot of stuff. And you got to unpack a lot of things with LeBron that you didn't have to 8 years ago. Rob Parker. Oh, he is worked up. And he is up next. In LA, it's the Herd.
You're listening to The Herd with Colin Cowherd. Colin is live weekdays at noon to 3 Eastern, 9 a.m. to noon Pacific.
Geico has been saving people money on car insurance for over 75 years. So if you're serious about saving yourself, go to Geico.com. After 75 years, they know how to save you money.
Now back to The Herd.
We got a lot of stuff with Rob Parker, the FS1 instigator, part of the fastest growing sports radio show in the country, On Couple with Chris and Rob Parker. It's very funny. It's a great show. You're the crazy loony Parker.
You already know when Chris is the voice of reason. Is that how it goes?
Okay, Odell Beckham to the Browns. Everybody's freaking out. People in Cleveland, I've watched internet videos of Cleveland fans screaming and yelling. How big of a success is it?
I think it's way, way, way premature. And I'm not saying that the players that they've put together in a nice group, I like it, especially offensively. But Colin, let's just be honest. Look at who they beat a year ago. They beat one team over 500. That was Baltimore early in the season.
With Flacco, who got benched.
Yes, they was 12-9. Now you go and look at the back end. They beat up a terrible Cincinnati Bengals team twice.
With Jeff Driscoll.
That gave up 500 yards. Gave up defensively. They were awful. They fired their defensive coordinator. All I'm saying is pump the brakes. Also, you got all these diva receivers who are going to want. Somebody's not going to get the football. Somebody's going to pound and moan. I know that they're good friends, and everybody acts like everything's great.
And that's a bunch of bull.
It is until they don't get the ball. Then that's when there's an issue. So, are they better? Absolutely.
Offensively, they have a lot of mouths to feed.
Yes.
And Sterling Shepard a little better after the catch. So they have duplication. They don't have a 1, they have 2 2s.
Yeah. I don't know. I think if you're a Giants fan right now, you're disappointed. And I'll tell you, you can say whatever you want about Le'Veon Bell and the Jet. I think it's a great
So do I.
I think it's going to make sense. A valve.
We talked about it. She was so furious with the trade rumors that imploded the young locker room. What do you make of it?
Now, we had Rick Bucher who wrote that story right for the Bleacher Report. We had him on the radio show, Colin.
Yes.
And our thing was, were they really serious about making a trade? No, from this standpoint. And Rick admitted it. Because if there was really a where she picked up the phone and started calling people, then that would be serious. But she never picked up the phone and never talked to anybody. But did she think about it? She thought about it, and he 5 years and make them better. And he used a toxic environment, and this is what the Lakers got. I don't think that they were ready for what comes with LeBron.
Pat Riley told people, I've got pretty good connections to the Miami Heat. Pat Riley told people that LeBron comes to your team and they want to run the team. And Pat Riley was never willing to relinquish that. So when LeBron went to Los Angeles, where they're steeped in Pat Riley history, Riley said, you're about to see the tsunami that comes with LeBron and Clutch Sports and their clients. So when Kevin Durant said that about LeBron, it's fairly toxic. It wasn't a shot at just LeBron. It was a shot at the entourage, the whole piece. I just said this 10 minutes ago. LeBron comes with suitcases. There's a lot to unpack.
No, there's no doubt about it.
It's not just his game.
And that's what the Lakers are finding out, because look where they are from this standpoint.
They were shooters.
Right. But everybody said this when they first put the team together. That was the first glaring thing. And then here's the other part. If you're the Lakers, the only way you really could be able to move LeBron, to me, is if you talk to Kevin Durant and some of these other stars will say, if he's not there, I'm interested in coming to the Lakers. Here's the other scary part. If the Pelicans decide, no, we're not doing business with the Lakers under any circumstances, who are they getting? Who are they getting to come with LeBron next year? Nobody. Colin, this is going to be a mess. This is going to be a 4-year mess. Everybody laughed at me when I said he came to Los Angeles to be Meryl Streep. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
They laughed. And I'm telling you, I'm right on this. He came here for the Hollywood stuff first. And if he wins, he wins. If he doesn't, but what he didn't realize is the fans here, they won't accept that. They want to win. They want to win a championship.
Staples Center is not Hollywood. Hollywood is Hollywood. Staples Center is a lot of working, like every team in the country. New York's full of rich people. Go to Yankee Stadium, it's working class people. Outside of the first 10 rows behind the plate. You've been to Yankee Stadium. There's a handful of movie stars at Laker games. It's mostly regular people. They're not into Hollywood, and I think it's a huge turnoff. Kobe lived in Orange County, helicoptered in. He stayed away from Hollywood until the very end. Then he got into it. Kobe always knew that Hollywood and the Lakers are two. By the way, Shaq dabbled in Hollywood, turned off the Lakers front office, and they moved Shaq when they had to make a choice, because I was told at the time they just felt like Shaq was too distracted and Kobe was all in on basketball. But when Kobe retired, he went right to Hollywood.
And you know, Colin, I was out shopping recently. I'm going to tell you how much LA's turned off to LeBron.
Let me see it.
So, you know, I was out shopping and I was going to get an early Christmas present. You know, I run into you at TJ Maxx all the time. Look, it's already 50% off at TJ Maxx on LeBron. They're already moving on. I mean, look at this.
Did you watch Zion last night?
Oh, man.
Oh, bro,
You know what I love about him?
What?
He wants to play basketball. I love the idea. Once he became healthy, you play. You're 18 years old.
They also-
you got a chance to win a championship with Duke.
Like you and I both agree, if a college football player skips out in the Liberty Bowl,
We get it.
but you don't skip out playing, if you're for Clemson playing Alabama.
No way, no matter what.
I'm surprised. I didn't think he would come back because I think he's such a generational money machine that people would get in his ear. I just figured he'd be pressured to not play. I love the fact he did play.
I do too. I just think that a kid like that, 18, if it was on Rutgers and they were playing in the NIT, you know what, Colin? I say you should sit this one out.
Right.
You got nothing to gain here. But you're playing at a prestigious basketball school with a lot of history. Why would you want to put a banner up that you helped win as far as for your history? You know what I mean? As part of your
I like the kid more than ever after last night. Rob Parker, have a great weekend. Odd Couple with Chris Broussard on radio later today. It's The Herd.
You're checking out The Herd with Colin Cowherd. To hear more sports action, listen to Fox Sports Radio on iHeartRadio. If you're like me, you're hearing us talk about listening to podcasts, right? But what is a podcast? Well, podcasts are audio shows you can stream or download. They range from entertaining to informative, and they cover just about any topic you can imagine. From true crime to comedy, politics, history, even aliens. Yeah, the iHeartRadio app makes makes it simple to find a podcast for whatever topic that interests you. Just open the iHeartRadio app, tap the podcast tab on the bottom of the screen to begin your podcast adventure.
NBC News Radio, I'm Brian Shook. New Zealand police are confirming the suspect charged with murder in relation to the shootings at two mosques is 28-year-old Brenton Tarrant. Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern said Tarrant had 5 guns and a firearms license. 2 other people are in custody but have not been charged. None of the 3 had a criminal record. In the aftermath of the deadly attack, Homeland Security Secretary Christian Nielsen says there's no specific or credible threat to the U.S. Tom Roberts has more.
In a statement Friday, Nielsen warned that all Americans should remain vigilant to prevent the violent hate displayed in the New Zealand shootings. She also offered prayers to victims and their families. The attack killed dozens of people. Tom Roberts, NBC News Radio.
President Trump said he thinks there should be no final report from Special Counsel Robert Mueller. In a series of tweets today, Trump said Mueller should never have been appointed. He also argued that the probe is an illegal and conflicted investigation in search of a crime. Mueller's thought to be wrapping up his investigation and is obligated to submit his findings to Attorney General Bill Barr. President Trump is defending the veto of the congressional resolution that blocks his border emergency declaration. At the White House today, Trump called it a reckless and dangerous resolution and insisted that there is a legitimate crisis at the border.
The only emergency Congress voted to revoke was the one to protect our own country. So think of that. With all of the national emergencies, this was the one they don't want to do.
Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer accused Trump of trampling all over the Constitution. The New York Democrat reacted to the president's veto, saying Democrats in the Senate will never stop defending the country from an overreaching president. The fallout for Lori Loughlin and her YouTube star daughter Olivia Jade continues. Several companies are cutting ties with the two over their alleged involvement in the massive college cheating scandal. You're listening to the latest from NBC News Radio.
You're listening to The Herd with Colin Cowherd. Check out Colin live weekdays at noon Eastern on the internet.
Because it is New York, and because it's an unbelievable all-time Jim Brown level talent, Le'Veon Bell is not getting the love. It's a major, major deal for the Jets. Half the guys across town in New York could get it together.
There's more to come right now in The Herd.
You guys can laugh at me all you want.
This is The Herd
Oh, yeah.
with Colin Cowherd.
But setting the tone.
Broadcasting live from Los Angeles. The Herd with Colin Cowherd starts now.
Hour 3. What up? It's Los Angeles. This is The Herd. Wherever you may be and however you may be listening. We're on iHeartRadio, Fox Sports Radio, today FS1. Great to have you. Sirius XM Channel 83 as well. Great to be. The show has just flown by today. Really fun. This is the best March I remember. I really think there's a lot going on. By the way, in 40 minutes, Jason McIntyre, he comes on every Friday. And we call it Monday's Headlines Today, where he predicts what's going to happen over the weekend and what the headlines will be Monday. He is on a hot streak. He predicted Antonio Brown to the Raiders. This is a guy, one of the reasons I befriended him years ago. He's got contacts. He also called OBJ to the Browns. He did this a week ago. So he has been, dealt to Cleveland. OBJ, he said, would get traded and dealt to Cleveland. He nailed it. He said Antonio Brown will be traded to Oakland. He nailed both. So he's coming off a great week. Well. Everybody now this week is talking about Antonio's offensive line isn't good. Derek Carr's not going to have time to hit him deep. Yes, I think Baker Mayfield and OBJ is going to be fun to watch.